We're back with Workshop Wednesday. It's time to do some stuff. It's time to make something. Let me adjust this a little bit. So today, this is going to be an interesting one because I have a vague idea of what I'm trying to do, but I don't know exactly. This is going to be sort of an experimentation stream where I'm going to make some things aiming towards what I'm trying to make, but I will probably end up deconstructing it and then remaking it and starting again maybe next week or some other time to make what I really want to make. I just have to experiment with some things and play around to get a sense of how to make the thing I want to make. So the idea is to basically, this is going to be kind of weird. I want to make some samurai armor, or something that kind of looks like samurai armor, much like that. And I want to make it out of convention badges. So I've been saving the badges that I got at various anime and sci-fi conventions for years. And so I've got dozens of badges here. Well, maybe 24 badges. Well, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. So 24 badges. And I want to sew them onto cloth to make, armor. But I don't know quite how or what to do that. So what I've got is I've got some old shirts here, some old long sleeve shirts. And I'm just going to try sewing these badges onto one of these shirts and just get a sense for this. Now, you'll notice in here, there's this sort of dark gray undercloth there. And indeed, if I go back and look at a lot of these images, they have this, it's always sort of a black or very dark gray cloth underneath. So I will not be using this permanently. And that's one of the things here, is that I'm not looking to well, I should say I'm not. Whatever I make today, I want to be able to deconstruct and, come back from. So basically, I'm just going to sew these on in a way that I can just snip them off and rebuild. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is separate these out into different sort of scales and orientations as well. So those are small ones. That one is it's kind of different. That one is its own size. It's going to be interesting. That's roughly the same size. That's kind of sort of the same size. That's that size. This is, this is that size. So we have a lot of range of things here. And it's a different size. This is what? It's one of these. This is basically one of these. This is also one of these. There. This is a horizontal. As you can see, I've been to these cons a lot. Another horizontal, but a different thing. What have I got? Is it this? That's roughly that size. Yep. That. Yep. Okay. So here's all these scales I have. Is this the same size as... Oh, it's smaller. All right, fair enough. So let's see here. So we have two of these sizes, which are close enough in scale to these. This is a little smaller. This is, again, kind of similar in size, so not a big deal, but I have to think about that. These are big, and these are horizontal and bizarre. So let's look back at what we want here. And again, I'm kind of limited because... Can we pop that out? Yeah. Because I can't just manufacture new badges. And this is ideally something that's going to, change over time, sort of grow over time. Oh good, we have lots of different angles on this. So I will probably end up saving all of these. Whoops, we don't have them all the way around. Okay. Okay, so that's what we got. So there's from the back. And so I'm definitely going to have them sewn down the back, down the front, and then on the sleeves here, and then I'll start working on this. So obviously it kind of makes sense, yeah, to do the, let's see here, obviously makes sense to do these kind, you know, here along the body, and then thus preserve these for like the epaulettes, you know, along the arms or along here. But again, I have this limitation that I only have 3 of these orientation, so I can't necessarily do that. But what that does tell me is that it's okay for me to do badges, you know, all along here, fill that out, and then go from there. So let me look at these. What do we do with the collar? They have kind of an interesting collar. I might end up just making a collar, making something that way. So, yeah, all right. Alrighty. So I think what I'll do here, let's get down to brass tacks. Oops. Like I said, I'm going to just take some needle and thread and some black thread. Come on. Are you in the... Huh. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm going to grab a whole bunch of black thread. Are there some scissors in here? I don't think so. Grab some scissors. We'll get there. And then, yeah, I'm just going to sew that in here. So that's looks like a pretty reasonable needle. I'm just going to thread that needle. I can just poke the thread into the eye of the needle, which is always annoying. Often doesn't happen the first time. You just got to keep working at it. Eventually it goes in. Or you decide to use a different needle. It's actually a very small hole. I may need a different needle for this. Yeah, okay. I don't like that needle. Do I have a bigger one? That's not a needle. What is this? These are also needles. Well, it seems like a larger hole. Let's find out. Okay. It doesn't look larger from here. Did that go through? Nope. Did that go through? That went through. Okay. So we have threaded the needle. Good. And then I like to twist it a little bit just to get that thread a little tighter. Okay. So I've got 2 of these here. I don't really care which one because we're just playing around here. I've got pockets on both. It's not going to be much easier one way or another. So let me just grab one of these larger, well, you know, let's start here. It goes up, I mean, pretty high. So I'm just going to sew this on right there. So I've got my, again, this is the one side of the collar. This is the back of the collar. So this is the beginning of the shirt, basically, and I'm just going to sew into here. Oh, I need to tie off the end. In fact, I should probably sew the other way. That's fine. Just going to tie a little knot here in the end. I'm terrible at tying knots, by the way. That is just something I have come to accept. And I will eventually learn. I should do a knot show where I learn how to make knots. Okay, so there's a little knot. Alright, so we're just going to run this up in here. And so this is going to go through, and then hopefully it will stop at the knot. And then I'm just going to keep on sewing next to that. So we'll go in next to where that went in, and then come out next to where that came out. Ends up going through two pieces of fabric, but that's okay. Come on, go through. And I'm just going to keep on doing this. Go in. See, I'm right next to this piece of... Maybe I'll just go over. Then this is not... Man. Not cooperating because I've got multiple... pieces of fabric over top of each other at this particular spot in the shirt. So let me do that, and then I'm going to kind of sew on one side and then the other. And like I said, I'm not really worried about style here. This is just an experiment, and when I'm done, I will undoubtedly undo them and make this much better on the next one. Probably end up buying like a dark long sleeve button-up shirt. One of my questions is it going to make sense to have like a button-up shirt? Is that going to be easier? I don't know. All right. That I'm reasonably happy with. So now I'm going to push this through. So I'm just pulling the thread through a couple of times, kind of to hide it. I actually end up cutting off the thread. Okay. And then I'm going to cut that. Okay. So, again, weird. This is very ugly, but it's just to keep it on long enough for me to play around. All right, so there's the first. Let me do another one next to it. We'll do this one, the Cat's Gone badge. And we will tie a little knot on the end. You may end up seeing me without a shirt tonight. Imagine that. I should probably put something on underneath this, just so Twitch doesn't freak out. I may do that. I may go put on a little t-shirt. Wouldn't want to offend Twitch's sense of propriety. Okay. So we put this right next to it. I could, of course, spread this out and just like use chalk and kind of mark where all these should go, but I kind of like doing it by look. And again, this is just experimentation anyway. Okay. Is that gonna, yeah, it stays, good. And this time, because we're over in a different spot where there's not a lot of fabric in the way, I can kind of loop these right next to each other. start to get a tighter loop there. Good. And I'm going to just keep on sewing that. So basically poke in right next to it, and then poke in right next to that, and just keep on doing that. Oops. And that get caught on. There. Pull that through. This is really just sewing. You know, it's just putting your needle in and then taking it out, which the more I say that, the more naughty it sounds. But it's just, oh, what happened? Huh. I just lost my thread. Okay. So the thread just came out of the needle. And let's rethread that. But yeah, you're just making loops of thread basically through your fabric and using that to tie things in place. Obviously, it gets a lot more complicated than that, but at the very fundamental of, you know, the very basics of what I'm doing, that's what we're doing. Come on. Get in there. Doesn't want to get in there. Okay. Let's thread it in most of the way. Now hopefully I can pull it through. Okay, good. And then again, we twirl it to make the thread kind of stick. All right, back to it. We'll do a few more of these. It's really difficult. There we go. So in and out. Yep. Yeah, so I think we'll do a few more stitches here. Come on. Go in. There we go. And then come back out kindly. Okay, that'll have to do. And then, yeah, maybe another stitch or two right here. It is so easy to poke yourself with a needle, and you'll do it. It'll happen. It's okay. It's no huge deal. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this. Poke that in. Whoops. Poke that in. Bring it back out. Okay. And then I'm just going to push that through. I'm going to probably do a couple of different stitches here. Do that there, and then like one more. And that'll just, again, kind of the friction of that will keep it in place. Okay. I'll be right back while I get a t-shirt on. This is actually hot, this shirt. All right. So let's put this on and get a sense for how it hangs. We'll do a couple buttons. So there we go. So we've got two badges on. So the idea is we would have another two badges, one here, and then more coming down. And then more on the shoulders. I think that would work. Yeah. I think this is an effective idea. It doesn't look much like armor, but I think the overall effect, once I have all of the badges on, it'll kind of make sense. Okay, good. I'm pleased. Let's do a few more, and we'll get a sense of that. And like I said, we'll probably end up doing something with a different cut or different shirt later on. Okay, so there's that. So we want this to be here. All right. Let me... Where's my needle and thread? Ah, over there. Do I have enough left? I think so. I think I can make that work. Yeah, definitely. Twist that. And then make a knot here. Ooh, that does not want to twist. Interesting. A little knot there. And then we will do it again. Again, it's kind of tedious, but that is just the reality of it. When I actually do this too, I'll probably look at the badges and see if I can kind of color code them. You know, fit the, there we go. So you can see here, you know, put the red ones near each other and the blue ones near each other. So the ideal here is to have a little loop. You kind of can't see very well. Yeah, you see a little loop there. That'll catch rather nicely. All right, so we want this here, which is about the same position as the other one. So we poke in there, and then poke above. And you got to think about how this is going to hang. It's going to hang from above here, from the top. So you got to make sure that your stitch doesn't go too high, because that's really the limiting factor, not where you start down there. We'll do another stitch and go up here. This idea was inspired by a local con-goer who made a staff very much like that used by Shinto priests, or maybe Buddhist priests, I'm not sure. It is a staff with a bunch of rings on it. That, you know, have you seen that in anime? But it was all made out of con badges. So, whoops. Dethreaded the needle again. Nope. Come on. Go in. Go in. It can be very hard to tell what you've got. Oh, there we are. Threaded. And we'll see if we can't. Yeah. Somewhat. Okay, not bad. So yeah, I really liked that idea of a thing that you bring to a con that shows how many cons you've been to. But not in a show-offy way necessarily. Like, obviously it's a little show-offy, but it's fun, you know. It's something people look at and go, oh, that's cool. So the more I look at this, the more I think it is going to make sense. Losing that thread. it is going to make sense to do this as a button down, because otherwise you'll go crazy trying to get an on or off. Maybe. I think. Yeah, those are really binding up. I want this to be, let's go all the way over and then come back. And then do a few stitches in there. There. Will definitely be the end of this this thread. Not much more we can do. And obviously, with a gray tunic, you're not going to notice these stitches as much. You have a little more, a few more options, a little more control. Let me push the needle through there. Again, just do a couple of things. Ideally, actually, you do this on the back. So you do these final stitches there, and then you wouldn't see them as much. But again, this is just to get a sense of things. Okay. That's that. And we'll do one more. So it should be over here. This is actually, okay, that's fine. Now the cat's gone. I'm going to make sure that, okay, so that's there. So that should be about there. Okay. This is where I would like some chalk. Do I have any chalk? I don't believe so. All right, fair enough. But I'm going to need some thread. It's a good amount. I'm going to go ahead and knot one end now. So I don't have to do it later when there's a heavy needle on the other side. See, I'm learning. I thought I was going to do that, but the thread has other ideas. Partly because it has this weird crook in it. Alright. And then we do another one. There we go. And then we pull this down. And hopefully we have our loop. Yeah, there we go. So again, there's our little loop on the end. Yeah. And then the other end, we put in our needle. I still don't have a sense for myself. Wow, that went right in. Whether I'm better right-handed or left-handed for threading a needle. Whoa. Pull that out almost. Let's twirl that. Okay. This goes in here. I need to pull. Then I pull this off to the side. I pull this up. It's going to be annoying. Just because of where all of the fabric is. But I think I can get it there. Hopefully without stabbing myself. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Okay. Whoa. Huh. Whoa. Almost lost the thread.
with the needle. Huh, okay. Interesting. Poke in. Poke out. Yeah, this is, come on. Not particularly exciting at this point, but we're getting there. Making progress. Okay. Gotta make sure I'm angling it right so it'll hang correctly. Ah! What happened? Is that the... yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is clearly not a thing that I would normally want to spend hours doing, because I would go nuts pretty soon. But okay. There we are. Pull it tight. Continue. In and out. Come on. Will you work now? I think it's gonna work. Hey, we have a stitch. Yay. Second stitch, actually. Ah, almost poked myself. I almost feel like I should poke myself just to get it over with. You ever have that feeling where you're like, I know this is gonna happen. Just do it. Let me feel it. I'm ready for it now. Okay, let me start moving over on the fabric. Don't need a lot of stitches in this, I don't think. Again, primarily because this is all experimentation, just to get an idea of the costume. Okay. Oop. 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 There. Getting pretty close. I think we got this stitch in, this stitch up here. Yeah, okay. All right, that's enough stitches to keep that in place, I think. Again, for the time being. I might do one more row of these, or at least a few more, just to get a sense for this. All right, and then again, we're gonna run through there. Also sweating, which doesn't help. Oddly enough. Okay. Let's just do that. All right. So I can immediately see one of the problems is going to be, oh, that's not as high up as I thought. Huh, okay. Because these badges flop all around, that's going to be a problem. Alright. So in fact, I think it's going to be easiest if I do this. Nope. There's just no easy way. Maybe if I do it like this. If I keep it down like this and put it on one sleeve at a time, that might decrease the amount of floppiness. Yeah, kind of. Alright. Button. 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 Okay, what do we got? We got our badges. They're starting to fit. Okay, that's good. See here, obviously this one's too high, so we just have to move that one down. Let's look back at our armor. So it looks like the armor goes, it's not too inaccurate, it does actually loop up around. So actually we wouldn't want this to go down. We want this to go up. Sorry, we want this to stay down. We want this one to go up, probably. Then the question is, I mean, this just feels, I don't know. It feels like it would get heavy as I walk around with it. But maybe not too badly. Yeah, I kind of like it, but they are going to flop around like crazy. That worries me a bit. That I'm going to have to do a lot of organizing to make sure that this makes sense. But that just might be the reality of it. Okay, I'm going to do another few badges down here. Like, maybe we'll do 4 more. Just to get a sense of what that looks like. But I think this is going to make sense. Again, I'm not going to complete this tonight. I'm just sewing this to get a sense of things. Oh yeah, and they're also looping around and getting kind of caught there. So that's the thought. Okay. So let's do some of these. I'll have to get another badge holder for that one. So we'll do some Star City ones. Maybe a Star City and an Animorph. Alright, so this hangs down here. This is going to hang here. And this has a much smaller hole. And actually has 3 holes, which is kind of nice. I could do a couple loops there. Okay. So again, we need our loop, our knot. There's got to be an easy way of knotting this. Some sewer's trick that makes this just trivial. But I don't know what that is yet. So I'm just doing a simple little square knot to create a little loop there. Okay? And then, is that enough? Where'd the shoot? The knot just disappeared. It tied right down. Dang it. Alright, I'm gonna... Is that gonna be enough? No, it's barely there. Oh, I knotted... knotted a bit of string. That's not very useful. Not very useful. Haha. Okay. Wish I'd known that. Chat, pay attention. Okay. Another square knot. Maybe this time I'll try being a little more discreet. If I can get... shoot. It didn't tie on the... Oh, dang it. It missed. So we ended up with not a loop. Okay. Once more, into the breach, dear friends. Did it a bunch of times already tonight. Now it's looping around itself. Come on. Dang it. Well, that might be enough. We'll find out. So let me now, this time, I'm going to go in from the back. Yeah. And hopefully, I find out. Good, that does hold. And so now I'm just going to do a bunch of stitches right here. In fact, oh shoot! Thought I was going to. You can do a couple of loops there, and that will be all you need to hold that in. I'm not going to do all 3 of those holes. I'll just hold it in there. advantage of doing this is that you're going into basically the same spot every time. So it's very easy to tell where to go in and where to go out. You don't want to go into the exact same spot, but you're very close every time. Okay, so maybe 5 loops, I'm thinking. Okay, yeah, so this will be a nicer stitch than what we had before. And again, it'll be kind of loose because it's just in this one little spot, but that's fine for now. I think we'll do. Whoops, lost my needle. Yeah, well, we will quickly thread that just enough to tie this in and finish that. Hopefully. Come on, needle. Thread your needle. Thread. Thread. Okay, there it goes. Okay. And we're just gonna grab that and run it underneath, do a quick stitch there, and then one more, just doing that. Okay, then you cut this, and now you'll see, if I hope, yeah, there's just a bunch of loops on this side. There's nothing, nothing running around. There's no extra threads. That's how you want to stitch them like that. Okay. Let's do another Star City. It's going to go right across. So that should be like right on that. Dang it. Right on this. I might actually sew it. Yeah, I'm just going to sew it into. Or do we want those closer? I'm going to sew it right into that pocket flap. How are we doing on the thread? That's new. Nowhere near enough thread on that one. Let's grab some Momoa. What's that? Nope, wrong end. And we should be right there. I think I'll just do this one more. That'll be enough to tell me what I need to know. Although I should also do some on the. Maybe I'll do one or two on the shoulders. That's worth doing. So I should have done a longer line of thread. All right. I seem to have more luck when I'm holding the thread with my right hand, my dominant hand. Not with this one. Try the other end. Oh gosh. This is one reason why you don't see a lot of needlecraft shows on Twitch. You'll see folks with sewing machines, but this stuff is so tedious. It's just not very interesting to watch. That's not going to go in. It's got too much fuzz on it. It's just physically impossible. Let's try the other end. Now you may be wondering, sure, I'm going to use a black shirt eventually. and that's why I'm using black thread here. But then why not use beige thread on this? Well, it's because, one reason to do that, rather, is that you can see better. You know, if your thread color contrasts with your fabric, it's easier for you to work than if I was using black thread on black fabric. When I'm actually doing the thing, I'll use black thread on black fabric because that'll look better. But something like this, it's a lot easier. Okay. Oh. Come on. Tighten. Not that way. Not that way. That way. I think I got it. Yay. Okay. So what was I going to do? I was going to do one more here. Yeah, just to see how that hangs in terms of heaviness and such. So that's going to be there. All right. So I want to go. Actually, we'll start down here. Right there. Then we go up here. It's technically a double length of fabric, or double thickness of fabric. So it's a little harder to push through and pull through. And also, I'm just not used to how strongly one should tug on these things. So I'm still learning all these different aspects of the craft. Those are all things I'm figuring out how to do right. This goes in, and we tug that nice and tight. Go up here, push it through. And it doesn't help when your fingers are all sweaty, which means that you can't pull the needle through. Come on. There. And a double doesn't help. In doing so, then that's okay. How do I tighten up the first stitch? Grr. Got some annoying slack on the first stitch. I'm just gonna have to. That's interesting. Got to keep each stitch close, otherwise it loosens. Through. Yeah, that first stitch is real loose. Interesting. Come on. There we are. Oh, what did I just do? I just messed up. How did I do that? I did not. Okay. What am I doing wrong here? I apparently went in the wrong way. Hate when that happens. Is that it? It appears to be, but I'm not going to be able to pull that through without messing up the needle, aren't I? How do I pull that back through? Well, we'll just try. Nope. Alright, well, whatever. You know what? It's going to stop there. This feels like that might be enough for a badge on the side. The badges on the side in the Khan armor are wide. But I only have 3 wide badges. So I would either have to do 2 elongated badges down there, or just live with a single badge along the arm. This is being really problematic, but I think there. Okay. So we'll go back to our picture. Oh, there's the picture. You guys didn't tell me. Been on the picture this whole time. That's annoying. Sorry, didn't realize that. Okay. So what do we got? We got our armor there. It goes all the way up to the shoulder. Okay. So sorry, no one told me that I was streaming that. Let me use some of these smaller ones. Yeah, I think the ideal thing would be to have 2 badges on either side going down, but then they're gonna, well, maybe be like this. So 1 badge here, 1 badge here. It's not really accurate though. Let's see if we can get a better view. Yeah. So here's those sides. It really starts down here and then comes up, which is interesting. But I essentially cannot do that with this armor because they just flop down, right? If I had it attached here, they would just flop down. Sorry. If I had them attached here on the side of the shirt, right, and then working their way up, they would just flop down. I can't layer them that way unless I like glue them together, which is going to be untenable. So maybe I just have to, I mean, I could just do them like this, you know, in a double row, essentially like this, right, going down. Excuse me. I'd want smaller ones though. Or ARG, but I think for now we will do just badges going down that way. So let's just try that again to get a feel. So we'll have a badge up there. Where'd my, there it is. That goes right up to the shoulder. It feels though like that would be yeah, that's why they're that way, is so that they don't so that when you move they shuffle. Because if I have a badge here, it's going to tend to want to flop one way or the other. And again, I can't really connect them anywhere else except up here. So maybe I would just have to make sure I sew this in really, really firmly right here. So that, I mean, it might move a bit, but it's going to pretty much stay there. Yeah, all right. So let me just try that. And this time I'm not going to go with a really nice stitch. I'm just going to get it on there. Come on, go through. Yeah, it doesn't want to do this because of the tear in the fabric. Ah! Oh, that's okay. That's alright. Go through. Okay, that stops there. This is going to be a tight one. Alright. So this goes here. Right? No. I messed up. That's on the top. Okay. Yeah. that's I made a mistake there. That's okay. This goes through down on the bottom and up at the top. I said up on the top. Wow. Does not want to go through. And I keep grabbing the fabric along with the needle, which doesn't work very well. Okay. Then we have to be rather careful here. How do you do this? This is really tricky. Because I have to keep this taut, but the fabric keeps moving around. Perhaps that is just the nature of the difficulty of sewing, why everyone doesn't do it all the time. Okay, so we want to make sure that's taut. Make sure that's taut. And then pull this through. Okay. And then same kind of thing. Oh gosh. This is just insane. All right. So we'll just keep on looping it. Oh. And that's, man. So this is definitely going to be a passion project because it is really tough. I keep pulling my stitches loose, like not out but loose, so that it starts hanging. Because there's just kind of no way to, for me, with my level of skill, to keep this taut up against that every single time. Right, like that gets a little loose as I'm putting in the next stitch. Because things move around. And there goes. Okay. Right. I'm just going to have to leave that there and hope that stays in. All right, let's play around. Definitely heavier already. I'd love to have this ready for my next con. It's already okay. Definitely difficult to move around, but we're getting there. Okay. Let me switch over to a better view. Oops. It's not what I wanted. Never mind. Now maybe we'll just change things around a bit. Okay. So there's the beginnings of it. That there, and this is already, yeah, it's already flopping. So that's a problem. I might have to, like, clip a hole in the bottom of these and sew them each together to keep them from flopping, from doing that. I don't want that. I want that. And, I mean, obviously I could do a bit more sewing up here to keep it in place. I could try that. But I think ultimately they're just going to move all over the place. So that may be a thing I have to do to keep this in position. But point being, I think the fundamental idea will work of just having all these badges, you know, sewn in place and just walking around the con basically like this. This shirt being, again, like a black or a dark gray and just the badges all over, I think would look cool. And if I have enough badges, I could do the sort of the skirt. I think it would look effective. So I think that's what I'm going to do. All right. So we have figured that out. We've got our plan. Again, I'm not going to do this right now. I need to go and find the shirt. And
then from there, we will go ahead and I will make this. I may not even do it on stream. It may just be a project I do separately. But that is the idea. So, and again, the idea here was not to show you a complete project. It was to show you what happens when you have an idea and you want to experiment and get an idea of what the final project would look like. And now I know. So I will cut out all these stitches, put this all back in, and we will go from there with a full dark shirt, and I will have a set of quote-unquote con badge armor. Cool. We learned a lot. We've had some fun. And now we can go back to our to other projects. So I think probably next week we'll do some more mini painting, and we'll see where that goes. So thank you all very much for joining me as always, and until next week, make something.